Hello, my name is Daniel. I am 24 years old, a graduate from Michigan State University with a major in forensic science. While I would not consider myself a skeptic, I have never experienced anything in the realm of paranormal. That is, however, until a few nights ago. My wife and I achieved our dream of buying our own house, a small stone house isolated within the woods of Royal, Michigan. It was the perfect size for my wife and I since we did not have any kids, but not for a lack of trying. Unfortunately, my wife found out at a young age that she would never be able to bear a child. When her and I first met, once we started to become serious, she finally told me her deepest secret. But to her surprise, it did not swerve me away from her. In fact, it brought us closer. I was afraid to tell her that I, myself, never wanted kids. I guess you could say we were perfect for each other. Now, I know most of you who will hopefully be reading this grow tired of the backstory, and I apologize beforehand. I've never really written a story before, especially a true story. So if it drags at some parts, I apologize. This is not my forte, but I promise you what I'm writing is absolutely true. I guess I should go back to where everything started. Back when my wife and I found an ad on Craigslist for a home being sold. We were living in a 2-bedroom apartment in the city in downtown East Lansing. It was a short distance from the university and all of the major key spots of the city. While the apartment was not bad by any means, our lease was coming up and we wanted to further explore our future as a couple. While my wife was browsing Craigslist one day, she came upon an ad for a home being sold by the owner. 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1 half bath in the master bedroom, 3-stall garage, 2,100 square feet. What really caught our eye was the price. 45 grand. What a steal, right? We contacted the owner and, with our amazement, they responded within minutes. We set up a showing the next day, a Saturday where we were both off work. It was located in Westchester Heights, about 30 minutes from East Lansing. It was a beautiful home, stone exterior, hardwood flooring, 2 fireplaces, a basement, and an attic, and even a patio and deck outside. Everything was too good to be true. The couple selling the home was in their 30s. Like us, they did not have any kids either. They made us coffee as they showed us the home. It became more and more beautiful as time went on. There needed to be a catch. What's the catch? I asked, chuckling while sipping my coffee. Well, the gentleman said, looking down at his feet. Well, there was a tragedy in this home in the early 20s, he said, trying to ease my worries. A young woman hung herself in the attic, and while we have not experienced anything, just the stigma became too much for us, he said whilst bringing his wife closer by his shoulder. Stigma? I questioned, wanting him to further indulge any information he was trying to hold back. Yeah, kids would come to our door and say, "Is Amelia there?" he said, softly chuckling. Amelia? I questioned, as I took a sip of my coffee. That was her name, I guess. Look, the house is perfect the way it is. Too perfect, actually. But my wife and I are moving to California for a new job and I have to sell it quick. I assure you, nothing out of the ordinary has gone on. You have my word, he said as he extended his hand out. I pondered for a moment and took a glance at my wife, who nodded her head. As we shook on it, all we had to do now was make it official. And so we did. Our first day in our house was such a warming embrace that we hadn't felt in years. We had almost everything unpacked and it was starting to look like home. We sat by the fireplace in the living room, turned on the television and watched a movie on Netflix. About an hour in, we heard a loud noise coming from directly above us. Thump. I'm sure it's just squirrels, I said, kissing my wife on her forehead. We snuggled on the couch and heard the noise 10 minutes later. Thump.
Can you please go check it out? Daniel, I'm a bit frightened,
my wife said, giving me the old-fashioned puppy dog eyes. I sighed, kissed her on her head, and told her I'd be right back. I got up and pulled down the ladder to the attic. While the light in the attic did not work, I pulled out my phone and turned on the flashlight feature. The attic was dusty. It appeared that no one has been up there in years. I coughed and brushed away some cobwebs that were in my face. There were some boxes in the corner, but nothing out of the ordinary. I looked down at my feet and I saw a small leather book with the name, Amelia, engraved on the front. I blew some dust off of it, looked at it a bit, and thought it was intriguing. It would be cool to read about life in the roaring 20s, right? I went back down to my wife to find her asleep on the couch. I shook my head with a smile, and turned the television off and woke her up to go to bed. She must have been really tired because she fell asleep rather quickly once we got to bed. I wasn't tired. Not in the slightest, actually. I went back to the living room, sat by the fireplace, and cracked open the book. I wish I hadn't. 17th of January, 1923.
Father returned home from work at the coal mine. I didn't want to tell him about my friend because he'd never believe me. She's my only friend. She comforts me when I cry. She makes everything better when Father has been drinking. Only I can see her. Only I deserve to see her. She tells me there's a place I can go where Father will never hurt me again. A place that she lives. It sounds like such a wonderful place, doesn't it? You're my best friend, Abigail. Thank you.
I've heard of imaginary friends before, but this was dark, very dark. I turned the page to the next entry in Amelia's journal and read more. 19th of January, 1923.
Abigail keeps telling me about the place where I can finally be safe. She tells me to go to the attic and meet her there tomorrow night, where she will finally keep me safe. I cannot wait to be finally safe. Thank you, Abigail. God bless you.
At this point, I was afraid to turn the page, but almost as if I were in a trance, I did just that. It was the last entry in the journal. There were several pages left that were blank. It appears she had this journal only a few days before her untimely death. But who was Abigail? The 20th of January, 1923.
Today is the day. Today I am safe. Father will no longer beat me and touch me in places I don't want to. I will finally be able to sleep at night without the fear of my father standing over me. Abigail promises to take me away to a better place. She came to me while I was in bed this morning. She told me to meet her in the attic tonight after everyone has gone to bed. Thank you again, Abigail. I love you.
That was the final entry. I flipped through the book and saw nothing but blank pages, stained and off yellow from the age. I shook my head, rubbed my eyes, and put out the fire in the fireplace and went to bed. When I awoke the next morning, my wife was already up, making breakfast for us.
So babe,
she said, flipping a piece of bacon.
What did you find up there last night?
She said, turning her head over her shoulder to me. I was afraid to tell her what I found, as she would just freak out. So I just told her it was a mouse that knocked over a few boxes. Nothing to worry about. I hated lying to my wife, but at the same time, I did not want to worry her. She left to go to work, and I stayed home to finish putting in resumes to various places for a job. Thump. I heard a noise from the attic again. I shrugged it off, not wanting to go back up there. I know it sounds silly, but I was genuinely afraid of what else I'd find up there. It's bad enough I read the woman's journal, but perhaps something else was up there. thump. I heard it again. I decided to turn my iPad off and I went back up to the attic to check it out. There, laying in the middle of the floor, was the journal of Amelia. What the fuck? How? I sat as I bent down to pick up the journal. Did she have 2 journals? I opened the book and saw the same entries from the day before, but somehow, there was another page after the last one, written in the same handwriting as the previous pages. 7th of December, 2016.
Hello, Daniel.
I'm not sure what to do at this point. Perhaps my wife found the journal and was playing a prank on me. But when I confronted her about it, she denied it. I believe my wife. I honestly do. But I have no explanation for how that page was filled out. In the same handwriting, with my name and date of 3 days ago. I hear the thumping every night from the attic, and my wife and I are growing concerned. Help.